The evening air was cool and soft, carrying the faint scent of glowing flowers from the lantern garden. The colony's lantern festival was about to begin, and excitement hummed in the streets. Children laughed, couples held hands, and lanterns of all shapes and colors floated above the city. But inside the garden, where the lights glimmered among delicate plants, Aaron moved quietly, making sure everything was perfect. Aaron was young, with calm eyes and a gentle presence, but there was a spark of curiosity that always made them restless. The lantern garden was their favorite place, a hidden world of luminescent flowers that only bloomed under the colony's twin moons. Aaron had spent months caring for the garden, learning each plant's habits and secrets. Tonight, they walked slowly along the winding paths, checking the lamps and petals, making sure the soft glow highlighted the most beautiful flowers. The garden was almost ready for the festival. Tiny lights hung from trees, delicate bridges arched over sparkling streams, and clusters of glowing flowers swayed gently in the night breeze. Aaron felt a sense of pride and joy. This garden was more than plants and lights, it was a living piece of art, a place where anyone could feel wonder. As Aaron adjusted a lantern near a cluster of blue blooms, a shadow appeared at the entrance. A young man stepped inside, carrying a small bag and a curious smile. His eyes were bright, scanning the paths as if he had never seen anything like this before. His name was Soren, and he was known in the colony for his inventive mind and easy charm. He had come to see the festival, but when he spotted the glowing flowers and carefully arranged lanterns, he paused, clearly captivated. Aaron noticed him immediately. There was something different about the way he looked at the garden, not just with interest, but with wonder. Their heart fluttered slightly. They were used to visitors, but most people barely noticed the smaller details, the way a flower's glow shifted with the wind, or the tiny reflections in the streams. Soren's gaze lingered on these small things, and that made Aaron feel a mix of curiosity and excitement. "Hello," Aaron said softly, stepping closer. "You're just in time for the festival." Soren turned, his eyes lighting up as he saw Aaron. "Hello," he replied. "This garden, it's incredible. I've never seen anything like it." He smiled, and there was a warmth in his expression that made Aaron smile back, almost unconsciously. "I've been taking care of it for a while," Aaron said, trying to hide a hint of pride. "Each flower blooms only at night, under the moons. You have to watch carefully to see the colors change." Soren's eyes widened. "Really? That's amazing. I'd love to learn more. Maybe you could show me." Aaron hesitated for a moment, but then nodded. There was something friendly about him, something genuine. "All right," they said. "Follow me." They walked together along the winding paths, where the light from the lanterns made soft patterns on the ground. Aaron pointed out small details, the way a flower's glow reflected in the water, the subtle differences in colors among the blooms, and how the petals moved with the breeze. Soren listened carefully, asking questions that showed he truly wanted to understand. As they walked, they reached a bridge over a small stream. Aaron leaned slightly to adjust a lantern hanging from a tree branch, and Soren leaned closer to see. Their hands brushed for the first time, a brief, electric touch that neither expected. Both felt a sudden warmth in their chest, a fluttering that made them pause for a second. Aaron quickly stepped back, but Soren's smile didn't falter. "It's beautiful," he said, his voice soft. "I've never felt anything like this before. The garden, and now, being here with you." Aaron felt their cheeks warm, a mix of shyness and excitement. They had never met someone who could look at the garden and them with such gentle admiration. "I I'm glad you like it, they said, trying to sound calm. Soren nodded, eyes still on the glowing flowers. I think I'll be coming back. There's so much to see, and I'd love to learn more from you. Aaron's heart skipped a beat. This festival, which had always been about lights and flowers, suddenly felt different. With Soren's presence, the garden seemed more alive, more magical. And in that moment, among the glowing lanterns and softly swaying petals, something quietly sparked between them, a connection neither of them could ignore. The festival lights began to twinkle brighter, and laughter from the colony drifted toward them. But in the heart of the lantern garden, Aaron and Soren stood together, watching the soft glow of the flowers, feeling the start of something new, something that might change both of their lives forever. The next morning, the colony was already busy with preparations for the Lantern Festival, but the garden was calm and quiet. The soft glow of the early morning light mixed with the faint shimmer of the night-blooming flowers, creating a serene atmosphere. Aaron moved carefully along the paths, checking the petals and adjusting the small lanterns, making sure the garden looked perfect. It was their favorite time of day, the moment when the garden seemed alive but untouched by the crowd. Aaron had just finished watering a group of delicate pink flowers when they heard the soft crunch of footsteps on the gravel path. Turning, they saw Soren approaching, carrying a small notebook and a curious smile. He had come earlier than expected. "Good morning," Aaron said, a little surprised. "I didn't think you'd be here so early." "Good morning," Soren replied. "I couldn't wait. I wanted to see the garden before the festival gets busy. There's something about it, it feels alive in the quiet." His eyes sparkled as he looked around, and Aaron felt a strange warmth in their chest. "I'm glad you like it," Aaron said softly. "It's easier to see the details when it's quiet." Soren nodded and opened his notebook. "I want to learn everything about these flowers. Maybe I can use the patterns in my inventions. Or maybe I just want to understand them, like you do." He looked at Aaron with genuine curiosity, and Aaron realized that Soren's interest was not just in the garden, it was in them too. "I can show you some of the rare ones," Aaron said, stepping aside to make room on the path. "But you have to promise to be careful. Some of these flowers are very delicate." "I promise," Soren said with a playful grin. "I'll follow your instructions exactly." Together, they moved deeper into the garden, where the light was softer and the paths narrower. Aaron pointed out flowers that glowed only under certain angles of moonlight, explaining how they reacted to the breeze and how they opened only after midnight. Soren listened intently, leaning closer to see every detail. At one point, he accidentally brushed against a delicate flower, and Aaron quickly moved to steady it. Their hands touched briefly, sending a small, warm spark between them. Both felt a momentary pause in their hearts, and they exchanged a shy glance. "Thank you," Aaron said softly, stepping back. "It's easy to damage them if you're not careful." Soren smiled, his eyes still bright. "I understand. I'll be more careful. But it's worth it, just to see these flowers with you." Aaron felt their cheeks warm, a flutter of excitement rising. There was something about the way Soren looked at them, attentive, kind, and genuinely interested, that made the garden feel even more magical. They continued walking, exploring hidden corners of the garden that most visitors never saw. Aaron showed Soren a small pond surrounded by glowing lilies, where the water reflected the soft light like stars in the night sky. They paused by a tree with silver leaves that shimmered in the morning light, and for a moment, they simply stood together, taking in the quiet beauty. Soren broke the silence. "You know, I never thought I could feel this calm in the middle of the colony. Being here, It's different. It's peaceful. And I like being here with you. Aaron's heart skipped a beat. The words were simple, but the meaning was clear. They smiled, a little shyly. I feel the same, they admitted. It's easier to share the garden with someone who understands it. For the rest of the morning, they walked side by side, laughing and teasing lightly as they discovered tiny hidden flowers and curious patterns in the plants. Soren asked questions that made Aaron think, and Aaron explained details that made Soren's eyes widen with wonder. Each shared moment brought them closer, and each shared laugh made the garden feel more alive. Before long, the sun rose higher, casting golden light across the garden. Soren closed his notebook and turned to Aaron. "I'm really glad I came back," he said sincerely. "I think I want to keep learning from you. Not just about the garden, but about everything." Aaron felt their heart warm. They had never met someone who could be so gentle, so curious, and so kind all at once. "I'd like that," they said softly. "I think we could discover a lot together." As Soren smiled and they continued along the glowing paths, the garden seemed brighter than ever. The connection between them had grown quietly, like the flowers that bloomed in secret under the moons. And in that peaceful morning light, both Aaron and Soren felt the first stirrings of something deeper, a bond that was beginning to grow, gentle and strong, just like the lantern garden itself. The evening came quietly over the colony, casting a soft glow across the lantern garden. The paths were empty now, with only the gentle rustle of leaves and the soft hum of the glowing flowers filling the air. Aaron walked slowly, carrying a small watering can, when they heard soft footsteps behind them. Soren had returned again. He was holding a small mechanical device, something he had been working on for his inventions. His eyes lit up when he saw Aaron. "I wanted to see the garden again," he said. "And I wanted to show you something I've been working on." Aaron looked curious, setting the watering can down. "Oh? What is it?" Soren carefully placed the device on a nearby bench. It was small and delicate, with tiny lights that pulsed softly. "I've been trying to make a little light pattern inspired by these flowers," he explained. "I thought, maybe you could help me make it better. You know the garden better than anyone." Aaron bent down to examine the device. The soft glow reminded them of the lanterns, and they smiled. "It's clever. I think with a few changes, it could look very similar to the flowers at night." Together, they worked on the device, adjusting the lights and patterns. Soren watched Aaron's hands carefully as they made small adjustments, and Aaron noticed how focused and gentle he was. The quiet teamwork created a peaceful rhythm, and they both found themselves enjoying the closeness more than they expected. "You're very patient," Soren said after a while, looking at Aaron with admiration. "I think that's why the garden looks so perfect. You notice things I would never see." Aaron felt a small warmth in their chest. "I've spent a lot of time here," they admitted. "I guess I just care a lot about it." Soren nodded, smiling. "It's clear. I can see how much love you put into everything here. And I like that about you." Aaron felt their cheeks warm. They had heard compliments before, but there was something about Soren's words, honest, gentle, and thoughtful, that made their heart flutter. They tried to focus on the device, but their hands moved a little slower, their mind filled with the feeling of being seen in a way they hadn't experienced before. When the device was finally working as they wanted, Soren stepped back and clapped softly. "It looks amazing. Thanks to your help, it really feels like the garden itself." Aaron smiled, feeling proud and happy. "I'm glad you like it." You did most of the work, really. No, Soren said quickly. You made it perfect. I just followed your guidance. His eyes lingered on Aaron for a moment longer than usual, and a gentle silence passed between them. The glowing flowers around them seemed to lean closer, casting soft reflections on their faces. As the evening grew darker, Aaron led Soren deeper into the garden, to a place few visitors ever saw. It was a small clearing surrounded by tall glowing plants, and in the center, a rare flower pulsed softly with a golden light. This one blooms only once a year, Aaron said softly. It's very special. Not many people get to see it. Soren knelt slightly to look at the flower. It's beautiful, he whispered. Just like everything you care for. You make even small things feel extraordinary. Aaron's heart fluttered. They were not used to hearing such words, and they felt an unexpected connection forming between them. I'm glad you feel that way, they said softly. For a while, they just stood together in silence, enjoying the calm and the gentle glow. The soft hum of the flowers, the faint breeze, and the quiet presence of each other made the moment feel timeless. Then Soren spoke again, his voice low and thoughtful. I never thought I could feel this comfortable with someone so quickly. Being here with you, it feels right. Aaron looked at him, surprised by the honesty in his words. I feel the same, they admitted. I've never shared this part of the garden with anyone like this before. Soren smiled gently, reaching out to point at the golden flower in the center. I think this is the start of something new, he said quietly. Not just the garden, but us. Aaron felt a warm flutter of excitement. They nodded slowly, understanding exactly what he meant. The garden had been their world, full of light and quiet beauty, and now it had become something more, a place of connection, trust, and the first sparks of something deeper. As they walked back toward the main path, side by side, the lantern garden glowed softly around them. The flowers, the lanterns, and the soft night air all seemed to celebrate the bond forming between them. For the first time, Aaron felt that someone truly understood them, and Soren felt the same. And in the heart of the glowing garden, both of them realized that this was only the beginning of a journey they would take together, full of discovery, warmth, and the gentle bloom of something extraordinary. The morning air in the lantern garden was fresh and bright, filled with the soft scent of glowing flowers. Aaron moved along the winding paths, humming lightly as they checked the petals and lanterns. The garden was alive with color, each bloom shimmering in the early sunlight. Today felt different. There was an energy in the air, a quiet excitement that made Aaron smile. As Aaron approached the small bridge over the sparkling stream, they noticed Soren waiting. He waved with a playful grin. Good morning. I hope I'm not too early, he called. You're right on time, Aaron replied, smiling. I was just about to start checking the lanterns. Soren tilted his head, looking around. The garden looks amazing in the morning. Different from last night, but just as magical. Aaron felt a small flutter of happiness. I like mornings here. It's peaceful before the festival begins. Soren's grin widened. I have an idea, he said, lowering his voice a little. I want to challenge you. Aaron raised an eyebrow. A challenge? Yes, Soren said. I bet I can find the hidden golden blooms faster than you. If I win, you'll have to teach me one secret of the garden that nobody else knows. If you win, well, I'll do anything you ask, within reason. Aaron laughed softly. You're confident. Very well. I accept your challenge. But don't underestimate me. They both moved quickly along the paths, eyes scanning for the rare golden blooms. The air was filled with the soft rustle of leaves and the occasional hum of glowing petals. Each time one of them spotted a flower, they shouted the color or pointed to it. Laughter echoed through the garden as they ran from corner to corner, stepping carefully over bridges and around delicate plants. At one point, Aaron darted toward a small hidden alcove near a cluster of silver-leaved trees. Just as they reached for a bloom, Soren appeared on the other side, grinning. Their hands brushed lightly as they reached for the same flower, and for a brief moment, time seemed to pause. Both felt the spark of warmth from the touch, a quiet thrill that went beyond the competition. "Careful," Aaron said softly, smiling. "These are very delicate." "I know," Soren replied, stepping back slightly, though his eyes didn't leave Aaron. "I'll be careful, especially with you around." The playful tone between them added a new layer to the challenge. Every laugh, every light touch, seemed to pull them closer, though neither fully admitted it yet. The garden itself felt like a secret witness to their growing connection, the glowing flowers casting soft reflections on their faces. After a while, they reached the center of the garden, where the oldest tree stood. Lanterns hung from its branches, and beneath it, a rare golden bloom pulsed with light. They both reached for it at the same time, their hands brushing again. This time, they didn't pull away immediately. Instead, they laughed softly, standing side by side under the warm glow. "I think we're evenly matched," Soren said, looking at Aaron with a gentle smile. "I can't decide who won." "Then maybe we both win," Aaron said, feeling a small thrill. "We both get to enjoy the garden, and each other's company." Soren's eyes softened. "I like that idea," he said quietly. For a few minutes, they stood together under the tree, enjoying the quiet glow and the shared moment. The laughter from their playful competition faded into a comfortable silence, and both felt a subtle, growing warmth in their hearts. The garden seemed to glow brighter, as if celebrating their connection. Eventually, Aaron led Soren to a bench nearby, where the light from the golden bloom spilled softly across the path. They sat together, shoulders almost touching, and watched as the petals shimmered. Neither spoke at first, but the silence was gentle and comforting, filled with the shared understanding that something new and special was beginning. Soren broke the silence. "I never thought a garden could feel so alive. But with you here, it feels different. Somehow, more magical." Aaron's cheeks warmed. "I feel the same," they admitted. "It's easier to enjoy the garden when someone cares about it as much as you do." As the sun rose higher, casting golden light across the lantern garden, both of them realized that their playful challenge had done more than just find hidden blooms. It had brought them closer, revealing a connection that neither of them could ignore. And as they walked back along the glowing paths, side by side, each felt the quiet thrill of something new, a bond that was beginning to bloom, just like the flowers around them. The evening fell gently over the lantern garden, painting the sky with soft shades of purple and orange. The festival lights sparkled faintly in the distance, but deep within the garden, where most visitors rarely wandered, the glow of the flowers was enough to create a world of quiet magic. Aaron walked along the winding paths, carrying a small basket of water for the delicate blooms, feeling a sense of calm they had never experienced before. Soren appeared again, just as Aaron was adjusting a small cluster of violet flowers. He carried a sketchbook this time, filled with drawings of flowers, lanterns, and the gentle curves of the paths. "I thought I could try drawing some of the garden," he said, smiling. "I'm not very good yet, but I wanted to show you." Aaron set down the watering can and leaned over the sketchbook. The drawings were simple, but they captured the soft glow of the flowers and the gentle curves of the garden paths. "These are wonderful," Aaron said softly. "You've captured the feeling of the garden, not just the shapes." Soren's eyes lit up. "You really think so? I was worried they wouldn't look right." "They look right," Aaron said, smiling. "You've captured something special. Something I haven't seen from anyone else before." Soren looked at Aaron, surprised by the words, and felt a quiet warmth spread through him. "I like seeing the garden with you," he said softly. "I feel like I understand it more when you're here." Aaron felt their cheeks warm. There was something about the way Soren said it, genuine, calm, and kind, that made their heart flutter. "I feel the same," they admitted. "It's easier to notice everything when someone appreciates it as much as you do." They walked together deeper into the garden, past paths lined with glowing flowers that sway gently in the evening breeze. Aaron showed Soren a hidden corner where a small stream reflected the light of the flowers, creating tiny sparkling reflections that danced across the water. Soren knelt to sketch the scene, and Aaron watched quietly, enjoying the sight of him so focused and serene. After a while, they reached a bench beneath a tree with silver leaves that shimmered under the soft glow. They sat down side by side, shoulders almost touching, and for a moment, neither spoke. The quiet hum of the flowers and the faint glow of the lanterns surrounded them, creating a world where time seemed to slow. "I've never felt this calm anywhere else," Soren said at last, his voice low. "The colony is always busy and loud, but here, it feels like everything makes sense. And I like being here with you more than I expected." Aaron's heart fluttered. "I feel the same," they admitted softly. "This garden, it's special to me, but sharing it with someone who cares, it makes it even better." Soren turned slightly toward Aaron, their shoulders brushing. "I'm glad I came back," he said. "I was curious about the garden, but I didn't expect to find this." He gestured gently between them, a soft smile on his lips. Aaron felt warmth spread through their chest. They had never met someone who could be both playful and serious, curious and kind, all at the same time. "I'm glad to," they said softly. I think I've been waiting for something like this without even knowing it." The golden glow of a rare flower nearby caught their attention, and for a moment, they simply watched it together, sharing the quiet wonder of the moment. Soren reached out slightly, brushing his hand against Aaron's. Neither pulled away. The simple touch sent a small thrill through both of them, and a silent understanding passed between them, a recognition that something new and meaningful was beginning. They leaned back on the bench, shoulders close, talking quietly about small things, the patterns of the flowers, the sounds of the garden at night, and the way the light shifted with the breeze. Each word, each shared laugh, made the connection between them stronger. As the evening deepened, the garden seemed to glow brighter around them. Lanterns swayed gently, flowers pulsed softly, and the air was filled with a serene magic that felt like it belonged only to them. For the first time, Aaron felt that the garden was not just a place of beauty, but a place where hearts could open safely. And Soren felt that he had found someone who understood him in a way that no one else had. When they finally rose to leave, walking side by side along the glowing paths, both of them felt a quiet anticipation. The bond they had begun to form in the garden was growing stronger, and both knew that this was only the start of something special. The lantern garden had become more than a place of glowing flowers, it had become a place where hearts could meet, and a gentle, tender connection had begun to bloom between Aaron and Soren. The night sky stretched wide over the lantern garden, filled with soft starlight and the gentle glow of the colony's twin moons. The festival had ended hours ago, and most visitors had left, leaving the garden peaceful and quiet. Only the soft hum of the glowing flowers filled the air, making the place feel almost magical. Aaron moved along the paths, checking the petals one last time, when they noticed Soren standing near the oldest tree in the garden. "You're still here," Aaron said softly, walking toward him. "I couldn't leave yet," Soren replied, his eyes fixed on the glowing flowers. "There's something about this place tonight. And I wanted to talk to you." Aaron felt a flutter of curiosity and warmth. "Talk to me." Soren nodded, stepping closer. The soft glow from the lanterns reflected on his face, making his expression gentle and sincere. "I've been thinking. I like spending time with you. More than I expected. I feel happy here, with you. And I think I need to tell you how I feel." Aaron's heart raced. They had felt the same way for some time, but hearing Soren say it aloud made the feeling stronger, warmer. "Soren. I feel the same," they said softly. "Being here with you, it feels special." Soren smiled, a mixture of relief and joy in his expression. "I wasn't sure if you felt it too. But I can't hide it anymore. I admire you, Aaron. Not just your care for the garden, but who you are. You're kind, smart, and amazing. I've never felt this way about anyone before." Aaron's cheeks warmed. The words were simple, honest, and heartfelt. "I admire you too," they admitted. "I've never met anyone as curious, thoughtful, and wonderful as you. I feel safe with you, and I enjoy every moment we spend together." Soren reached out slowly, brushing his fingers against Aaron's hand. The touch was gentle, almost electric, and Aaron didn't pull away. Instead, they felt a warm thrill run through their chest. "Being near you, it feels like the garden itself. Alive, beautiful, and full of magic." Aaron's lips curved into a shy smile. "I was hoping you'd say that," they whispered. "I've felt the same for a while, but I wasn't sure if you did." For a few moments, they simply stood there, holding hands, surrounded by the soft glow of flowers and lanterns. The air was warm, and the garden seemed to lean closer, as if celebrating their connection. Each pulse of light from the blooms mirrored the quiet flutter in their hearts. Then Soren spoke again, his voice low and sincere. "I want to be with you, Aaron. Not just for tonight, but for the future. I want us to explore this together, to see where it leads. I want to care for you, just like you care for this garden." Aaron felt a deep warmth and happiness. "I want that too," they said softly. "I want us to grow together, just like the flowers here. Slowly, carefully, and beautifully." Soren smiled, gently squeezing Aaron's hand. "I promise I'll be patient. I want to understand you, support you, and share this journey with you." The golden glow of a rare flower nearby pulsed softly, casting a gentle light over them. They moved closer together, their hands still intertwined, and felt a quiet, unspoken connection, a bond built on admiration, trust, and shared joy. It was more than friendship, more than simple attraction. It was the beginning of a love that felt natural and strong, like the roots of the oldest trees in the garden. They walked slowly through the glowing paths, side by side, sharing quiet conversation and laughter. Every glance, every gentle touch, deepened their bond. The garden seemed to shimmer around them, reflecting the warmth of their hearts. At last, they reached the center of the garden, under the tree where they had shared so many quiet moments before. They sat together on a bench, hands still intertwined, gazing at the soft glow of the flowers. The air was filled with a serene magic, the kind that only comes when two hearts find each other in perfect harmony. "Thank you," Soren said quietly, leaning slightly closer. "For sharing the garden, and yourself." Aaron smiled, leaning back comfortably. "Thank you, for being honest and kind. And for making me feel happy, safe, and understood." The lantern garden glowed softly around them, each flower and lantern reflecting the warmth between them. The night was calm, peaceful, and full of promise. And as they sat together, hands intertwined, Aaron and Soren knew that this was not just a fleeting moment. It was the start of a new chapter, one filled with care, trust, and the gentle bloom of love, under the soft glow of the lanterns. The Lantern Festival had returned once again to the colony, filling the streets with soft music, laughter, and the warm glow of countless lanterns floating in the sky. Yet, deep within the lantern garden, the world felt quieter, gentler, and more intimate. The soft hum of glowing flowers and the gentle rustle of leaves created a serene atmosphere that made time feel as if it had slowed. Aaron walked along the winding paths, adjusting lanterns and admiring the soft glow of the rare flowers. Their heart felt light, and there was a quiet excitement in the air. This year's festival was different. It was no longer just about the lights or the flowers, it was about sharing the garden with someone who had become truly special. Soren appeared at the entrance, carrying a small bouquet of glowing blossoms he had gathered from the corners of the garden. His eyes lit up when he saw Aaron, and his smile was warm and genuine. "Good evening," he said softly. "I thought these might make the garden even more beautiful tonight." Aaron smiled back, feeling a flutter of happiness. "They're perfect," they said. "Thank you, Soren." He stepped closer, and together they walked along the illuminated paths, side by side. The glow of the flowers reflected softly on their faces, and the garden seemed to celebrate their presence. Every step felt natural, comfortable, and full of the quiet thrill of connection. As they reached the center of the garden, under the largest tree where they had shared so many moments, Soren gently held Aaron's hand. "I've been thinking," he said quietly, "about how much this garden means to both of us. And how much I want to be part of your world, not just tonight, but always." Aaron felt their chest warm with happiness. "I've been thinking the same thing," they admitted. "I want us to explore everything together, the garden, the colony, and everything in between." Soren nodded, his gaze soft and steady. "Then let's promise each other something," he said. "To care for each other, to be patient, and to help each other grow just like we care for these flowers." Aaron squeezed his hand gently. "I promise," they said. "We'll grow together, slowly and beautifully." For a few moments, they stood together in silence, watching the soft glow of the lanterns and the shimmering flowers around them. The garden had become more than a place of beauty, it was a place where their hearts had found each other, where trust, admiration, and quiet love had blossomed. Soren smiled, leaning slightly closer. "You know," he said softly, "I think this garden is even more magical now than ever before. Not because of the lights, but because of us." Aaron laughed lightly, feeling a mix of joy and warmth. "I think you're right," they said. "The garden has always been special, but now, it feels like it belongs to us." They moved slowly along the paths, hand in hand, discovering new corners and revisiting old favorites. Each flower seemed brighter, each lantern more vivid, as if the garden itself reflected the happiness and connection between them. They paused often to admire the glowing blooms, laughing softly at their reflections in the streams and marveling at the delicate patterns of petals illuminated by lantern light. At one small bridge, Sauron gently guided Aaron to the center, where the water below reflected the stars and the glowing flowers above. "Look at this," he said quietly. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Aaron nodded, leaning slightly against him. "Yes," they said softly. "And it's even more beautiful because we're sharing it together." They stayed there for a long while, enjoying the quiet magic of the garden and the gentle presence of each other. The soft hum of the flowers, the flickering lanterns, and the cool evening air all seemed to celebrate their bond. It was a perfect moment, peaceful, full of warmth, and entirely theirs. As the festival lights in the colony glimmered faintly in the distance, Aaron and Sauron slowly made their way back to the main path. Their hands remained intertwined, and their hearts were light with happiness and the quiet thrill of a love that had grown gently, patiently, and beautifully. The lantern garden glowed softly around them, a witness to their journey from curiosity and playful laughter to trust, admiration, and deep affection. And as they stepped out together, side by side, both knew that this was only the beginning. The garden would continue to bloom, just like their hearts, filled with hope, joy, and a love that promised to grow brighter with every passing day. Under the soft glow of the lanterns and the twinkling stars, Aaron and Sauron shared a quiet smile, knowing that their story, like the garden, was alive, magical, and eternal.